The Attitude Era was great and amazing and peaches and cream. That's what the power of nostalgia does. And yes, it was brilliant, but it wasn't a constant home run. There are some truly bizarre participants we have totally forgotten about. So I am Simon Miller, and let's drag them back into the conversation right now. Number 10, Giant Silver. That's right. Giant Silver was part of the Attitude Era, but how? He was part of the group known as the Oddities, which were just famous for hiding people like this because John Tenta was in there too. It's flippin' earthquake. I suppose this is why the WWF snuck Giant Silver in there, because look at his CV. The man was a former basketball player and MMA fighter, known very well to a specific audience when he did pop up in the company for a year from 1998. Really, it was just a look to the future as he was out there in the Happy Giant role, which Vince McMahon loved. Think Albert when he became the hip-hop hippo, or Brodus Clay, and for no reason he was a dinosaur. I'm not sure I can even give you one story about Silver in terms of what he did during his run. It was just sort of there. That's really weird. Number 9, just Joe. Joey Legend helped train me when I jumped into wrestling, and I can tell you this, he is way better than you realize. It's why he made it to the top, because that doesn't just happen when he was indeed reborn as just Joe. That was his gimmick too. For no reason, he popped up in backstage segments, and before other wrestlers could get mad, he extended his hand and said, "It's cool, it's just Joe." You really could have made something from this given how mad the late 90s were, but this was very much a case of creative getting bored. After a few weeks, there was no more word about it. When the WCW buyout happened, Legend was never seen again. Given the whole point was for Joe to cause havoc behind the scenes, this could have been great and a perfect way to fill in some holes, because trust me, in the Attitude Era, the amount of plot holes we did have was ridiculous. So, you need to make sense of it? It's just Joe. Number 8, Pantera. No, not a metal band from the 90s. That also would have been odd. From 1997 to 1999, though, which many people do dub as part of the Attitude Era, Pantera had 19 matches in the then light heavyweight division. And yes, that's ridiculous, 19 matches over 2 years. In Your House, No Way Out of Texas in 1998 was his biggest moment when he faced Taka Michinoku and lost. Of course, WWE then signed a deal for a lucha show called Super Astros, and Pantera got drafted to that. It was a huge error. I don't think that program had more than 2 episodes. In terms of the WWF side of things, he really could have been their Rey Mysterio, but we have talked about this. The company was not interested, and the only reason wrestlers of this ilk even got on the show was to try and combat what WCW was doing. What could have been? Number 7, Brackus. This guy always comes up. Seems to have somewhat of a nice following, or people just found him strange. Brackus was in the door in 1996 because he looked like a pro bodybuilder, and we know the deal there. Vince McMahon loved it. There are plenty of stories of Vince backstage just in awe of his vascularity, and that is fine. If that's your thing, it's cool. The problem was Brackus could not go in the ring. He certainly tried and even had a small excursion to ECW before returning in 1998, but yeah, with no clue what to do with him, he was put in the brawl for all and got his ass kicked. That was the end. He was soon released, which goes to show muscles do help. They are not everything. Number 6, Southern Justice. Now this could have worked. It was the team formerly known as the Godwins, and as their gimmick was pig farmers, they needed an updated one for the Attitude Era. Enter Southern Justice. They debuted in June 1998 under their real names, Dennis Knight and Mark Canterbury, and looked like they could kick your ass. We all forget this, but these two were huge. Everybody was back then. They affiliated themselves with Jeff Jarrett too, which should have been a great unit. When Canterbury's issues caught up with him and he was forced to retire through injury. Jeff would head back to the competition eventually too, and of course Knight became Midian. What a damn shift. It's why we don't remember them, because they were barely together before they split up, so it is a shame. This could have gone a lot differently, especially in the late 90s. Groups really were the in thing. Number 5, K-Quick. I am pretty sure R-Truth was around when wrestling first kicked off as an idea. The man doesn't age and he just keeps going. His win with The Miz at WrestleMania 40 sort of summed up how the fans feel about this guy, because it was nothing but love, and yeah, K-Quick, as he was known then, was around during the Attitude Era. This was the year of 2000 where the chess pieces were being moved, including the New Age Outlaws. Because the Road Dogg needed a new partner, these two were put together. It felt like they could become a thing when disaster struck again. Jesse James left the company after some personal issues, and that all became quite problematic. Quick had a mini singles run before he was let go, and yeah, he soon went to TNA as R-Truth and became the world champion. And be warned, if you do track this down, some of his promos, he was not holding back. It does mean it was a blink and you'll miss it cameo throughout this period, and here we are in 2024 and Truth is still around. I absolutely love it. Number 4, BB. Brace yourselves. The madness has arrived. It's no big secret now, though, that women during the Attitude Era were not treated right. It was more than them just being eye candy. Sometimes it got really dark. It feels like this is why BB was hired, also known as Barbara Bush, because her main role seemingly was just to be a model under the banner of wrestling. Know the deal. She debuted in 1999 as a paramedic, which is when, Jerry Lawler especially was stunned that somebody working in the medical industry could have big breasts. Don't know how to put it, but now I hate myself. I think even WWE realized they needed more than this, so in 2000 the Dudleys got their hands on her and powerbombed BB through a table. This was their gimmick at the time. You do not remember this though, as from saying hello to being written off, only 4 months passed. Alrighty then. She only had one proper match too, which of course was an evening gown encounter with Miss Kitty, Ivory and Jacqueline at Armageddon 1999. Now I have said that, let's just move on. Number 3, Sniper. It's another weird group, and boy howdy, in hindsight this was crazy. The Truth Commission. If you know, you know. You will instantly notice Bull Buchanan and Corrigan in there, who is also linked to the Oddities. So who is the third guy? Well, that's Sniper. Of course it is. Between 1997 and 1998, this was Bill's go-to partner of choice, and man, did that become a thing. Old Snipe only worked one singles WWF match the whole time he was there. This was against Ken Shamrock in February of 1998 on Raw. Somehow he lasted 5 minutes. By April he was gone when he returned to his native Germany, although that wasn't the worst. He was CWA champion when he left, so I'm sure they were all very happy when he came back. Number 2, Key. Ah boy. If you thought this was Gangrel at first, I get it, and yes, the name. Just think about it for a second. I bet you'd like a key of that. This is also Vic Grimes, for people with the knowledge, who debuted on Raw in July 1999 and had a grand total of 1 match after that on WWF Shotgun. Key teamed with Droz and Prince Albert to get a squash win. What a trio that is. Almost like we just pushed our hands together. He was going to work with the Godfather when an injury to the Pimp stopped that, which is when Grimes was sent to ECW. Management felt like he needed more experience. There really isn't much else to say about his Attitude Era run, as he was basically forgotten about, but again, he was called Key. I'm not sure what people were thinking. Number 1, Baboo. Or Abu. That was his name when he debuted in 1998 alongside Tiger Ali Singh, when magically he became Baboo. Either way, this was the worst part of the Attitude Era. It's just offensive stuff. Baboo had wrestled a lot for ECW, whereas the WWF just wanted him to be an on-screen character for the most part, although he was Pablo Marquez at one stage, fighting in the Cruiserweight division. He then got 2 matches on the B shows when he was tied to Tiger, which was an issue, because as soon as Singh was let go, he was too. Baboo was gone. Wouldn't bother looking up this gimmick either. It's just the bad side of wrestling. Basically one horrible stereotype. Know any other wrestlers that were around during the Attitude Era that we've all forgotten? Make sure you leave us a comment below before you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. You can also click the link on the screen to expand your wrestling trivia knowledge, but otherwise, my friends, I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you again soon.